So if you're serious about map making, check it out. And once again, a big thanks to World Creator for sending me a license and allowing me to have a lot of fun with it. Wow, Happy New Year, I guess. I'm guessing you're gonna hear that on the on the recording. Yeah, World Creator, amazing. Hey everybody, welcome to another video. If you're familiar with my channel, you know that I usually do beginners tutorials and helping new people getting started and helping them along the way. This is going to be a little bit different. This is going to be for the really serious mappers. So if you are a map maker for Rust, you probably use height maps and then edit it to the terrain and maybe merging maps to do things faster, but it's not the best workflow. There's a program called World Creator, and it's a terrain and landscape generator, as you can see here, used by some really big companies like Blizzard, Capcom, 2K, I saw somewhere up here. This is a really good, powerful landscape generator. I reached out to them and they were kindly enough to send me a license. So really big thanks from the guys over at World Creator. They are also working on a World Creator 3, which is going to be even more powerful. And I will definitely be making tutorials on this version and hopefully as well on the third version. My tutorials for World Creator will probably be Rust orientated in the beginning, but I really love this program and I've been diving into it and trying to get the hang of it, and it's really fun to just mess around with. So there's a chance I'm also going to be making some World Creator tutorials on its own, really focusing on how to make nice terrains and landscape, but of course you can then still import those into Rust. So let's have a look at how to export a world that you created in World Creator and open it up in Rust Edit. This is the standard project or default project which you get when you open up World Creator. I don't want to import this, so let's quickly create something. Like I said, I'm not going to be covering how to work with World Creator yet. This is just a tutorial on how to export it once you got something in World Creator. So you can mess around with it yourself. There will be a link in the description to the website for World Creator. You can check them out. It's not a free program, but if you are serious with map making, you are probably selling your maps as well, so you can make some money back and buy a license. I also link to a guy called Design with TP. That's not Ted Thomas, that's Tyler something. And he made some amazing World Creator tutorials, which I use to learn it. So if you do want to get this and you want to mess around with it before I show those tutorials, go to his channel or just Google around and you will find some tutorials. So I'm going to make it a 1K map. I'm going to create a area and I'm going to call that the main map for main height map or whatever. Then I'm going to say has height map and I'm going to load a height map. So let's take this island over here and import that. So that's done. So let's change the height map border blend. Let's change the border blend over here and let's make it fit to terrain size. And let's turn off the show blend map. And here is our import. If we turn up the level step to the highest, you can see that all the detail is back. And you can see that we have really high detailed mountains. So that's step one. If you are familiar with Rust Edit, you know that, or with Rust in general, you know that the water is at 500. So let's go to Scene, let's go to Environment, and let's turn on the Show Ocean Plane, and let's put that to 500. I'm going to put the height scale at 2, so everything is twice as high or tall. And then I'm going to go to the offset and slowly move it up to raise our island out of the water, and then move it back till the height that I want. So something like this. And we got our island. And the cool thing about World Creator is that you can go to areas, add another area, and for example, do crater. There is a built-in crater effect actually in this, so you could do it differently, but I just want to show you. I'm going to make this area a little bit smaller, put it like in the middle of the mountain-ish. I'm going to say has height map. I'm going to load up the height map, choose the crater one, turn up the level steps, turn up the offset, turn down the height scale, and make sure we can see it. You got yourself a crater. So let's texture this. It's a little bit funny with the textures. It doesn't actually matter what textures you use for copying them over to RustEdit. The only thing that matters is the order you use. So I'm in RustEdit, or now I'm in RustEdit. If you go to Terrain Paint and you go to Splat, this is the order you should have. So your first layer in World Creator should be dirt. The second one should be snow. The third one should be sand, etc. So, and you need to fill up all these layers. So you can't only do dirt and snow and then try to edit it or export it. You need to do all the layers. Otherwise it will be a little bit messed up. So I will put this order also in the video description, so you can just copy and paste it. And when you're working in World Edit, you don't have to have World Creator. You don't have to have RustEdit open to save performance. So let's go. I'm going to close RustEdit. Let's go back to World Creator and use this order to quickly texture our terrain. So we're back in World Creator and we're going to go to textures and add a layer. As we just saw, the first layer should be dirt. So I'm going to call this dirt. And I'm going to select the main map as the area and I'm going to add a texture. So I actually have the Rust textures over here. You will not have those. Once again, it doesn't matter what texture you use. If you go to World Creator directory, it will load up all the default textures for you. You can just use those. Once you port them back into RustEdit, it only looks at the order and it will fill in the Rust textures for you. So the first one for me is going to be dirt. So I'm going to click on that and I'm going to say add. And it's going to add it through the whole map. I'm going to leave that for now. I'm going to go back and add another layer and I'm going to call this snow. And this is where it gets a little bit interesting because you don't have to paint in the snow by hand by yourself. So same thing, selecting the snow, clicking add, but now we're going to go back. We're going to go mess with the settings of this texture. So what I can, for example, do, you got all these settings and one big one is height. So I can say only at a certain height I want to have the snow. So the water is at 500. So if I put this to 500 and then move this up, you will see that it will start covering the island. So this is probably, or the land, this is probably not what you want. So let's move it up and have it only at the tops. Move the range a little bit. But there are a lot more cooler things you can do. For example, if I just turn off this height, I can enable the flow. And this is probably kind of what you want with the snow. It's like emulating the flow of the snow, how it would be in the real world. So in combination with the height select, you can have only at the highest tops, you can have this really, really cool texture that you don't have to paint in by hand. And it's going to save you so much time. And if I lower this, it's going to automatically add it also to the other mountains. So you have all these kinds of settings and stuff, and it will automatically do this for your whole map. So it saves you a ton of time. If you have to do this by hand in RustEdit, you're gonna cry. So let's quickly go through the other ones. And I'm still learning all this, so I cannot even explain exactly what everything is doing. I'm still messing around with it, but I do know how to import it, export it and import it. So let's just go to that and you can mess around with it yourself, because World Creator is freaking amazing to work with if you are into this kind of stuff. If you don't want to have these edges that rough, you can turn up the smoothness on both sides and then it will smooth it out also a little bit. So let's add another layer. And I know I typed snow, but that's still snow. Let's do the sand. So let's do the beach with this. Select the main map, add a texture, select the sand, add it to the whole map. And then we're going to set conditions for it. So for this one, I would just want to set the height. And I want to put it at, let's say, 480. Oh, 480. And make it end at about 501, maybe. Just have the beach. So the next one should be rock. So let's add a layer. Call it rock. select the main map as the area, and add the texture to the whole thing. Then we're gonna go set some settings. We're gonna do slope select. And this is between a 0 and a 90 degrees angle, so straight up. So I'm gonna move the lower end, and you will see that it will only start applying to the really slopey angles, so which will happen with mountains, and that's where we want the rocks to be. Let's do something like this, so you can see also nice in the crater, it fills it all up. Let's go to the next one. Grass. Select the main area, main map. Add the grass. Add it to the whole thing. And for this one, I'm gonna say I only want them in the cavities of the concave. So that's if you see the convex, it's like all the edges. And if you see the concave, it's in all the fields, or that's how I see it, in all the non-edges, whatever you want to call it. I don't know the correct things for it. If you don't want to have it in the crater, you might want to use the height select and up it. I do want it in the crater for now, it doesn't really matter, so I'm gonna leave it like this. It's starting to look pretty cool, so let's go on to the next one. Add another layer. Needs to be forest. Let's add the forest texture to the whole thing. And I'll do the same, I'll put it in the concave. And then I'll put some roughness on it. If you're having a hard time seeing what this layer is actually doing, you can turn the other layers off. And you can see by turning it on and off what you're actually painting in. And the whole idea is just making a nice blend of different textures. Frores. Okay, typing is apparently very hard, but trust me, I know what I'm doing. So let's go to the next one, which is stones, main area. And this is normally what I would use for the rivers, and your rivers would be at water height, so just under 500. So what I normally would do, I don't have any rivers in this, is add the stones texture to everything. Go to the height select and set this to about 499 to about 500-ish. And that would normally paint in all the rivers that you have at a normal 500 height. If your rivers go up a mountain, which happens in game, you will have to paint it in manually. Or if you're good enough, set it in all these settings and get it applied automatically. Since I don't have any rivers and I don't really want to use these stones, I'm just gonna move them down. So they're kind of out of the way. And I won't use them, but like I said in the beginning, I do need that stones layer filled, otherwise it will not properly move over. So we're gonna do the last one, gravel, add it to the whole thing, and set some rules for it. So with the gravel, I don't even know where I want it. Let's do a roughness. Let's just turn the other ones off so I can see what I'm doing. Put a roughness on there. Put a noise on there. Put it a little bit lower because I don't want it on the mountains. So give it a little bit of a range and then move it up like this. Let's put a slope on it. I don't want it on the slopes. And now let's turn down the weight so it's not that present, and then turn the rest back on. And this is our island, at least very quickly done and very quickly textured. I didn't do any of the smoothing, or you can for some effects you can they have built-in smoothness and stuff. I didn't do those, so I do have some rough edges, and like over here. You can easily fix this, but I don't want to make this tutorial too long. So I'm quite happy with this. Let's just save it. I'm going to save it as a folder structure. I'm just going to call it demo. Let me save that. So what we're going to do, we're going to go on the left here, and it says bridge export. We're going to click that, and it's going to take a little bit depending on your map, of course, and all the topology and all the textures you have. It can take quite a little bit if it's a big map. But it's relatively quick, as you can see. And let's open up Rust Edit and I'll show you what to do. So I'm just going to create a new map, and it doesn't really matter, not have to choose anything or do any settings, just create a map and let it load up. Once it's done, go to Tools, Maps, and World Creator Importer. Click on Select and navigate to wherever you have that bridge export folder. If you find your World Creator folder, you will have a bridge folder in there, and then there should be a folder with the name of your project. For me, it was demo, and there should be the XML file. So just select the XML file. You can also see that it's looking for an XML file and click Open. Create, and it will tell you that it cannot be undone. So are you sure? Yes, you are sure. If you have anything open, then a blank map or any unsaved work, save it, because it's gonna delete everything otherwise. And here it is in RustEdit. So you probably want to smooth out a few of these areas and mountains, or not. This could be exactly what you were looking for. If you, for example, want more of the grass to show, you can go into World Creator, go to the textures and select whatever texture you want. So for example, the grass, and turn up the weight. This way it will be more overruling the other textures around it, and it will show up more in RustEdit. That concludes this tutorial. As always, thank you for watching. All the links to World Creator will be in the video description. I'm out. Thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe. Peace.